There's an accusation about Jay-Z and Diddy and a teenager, 13-year-old teenager.
Right.
And we were speaking about just the statement.
Right.
The statement, you were saying you felt like that was calculated.
That was, that the statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist wouldn't say those things.
This is on your.
Who put that out?
Yeah, this is on.
50?
Yeah, it says, I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know, I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back, but the NFL, they won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right. Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right? Yeah.
I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of culture. I'm just telling you my opinion.
Right. Look, because you're part of the culture.
Like I can't say anything now. I'm out of it. I'm like I'm going to Dre's studio and just sit with Dre a little.
Right.
And then maybe I stay out of trouble.
Nah.
Has never shied away from causing controversy, particularly when it comes to his rival Jay-Z. Although the two have had their share of disagreements over the years, recent events have escalated their ongoing feud to a new level. The most recent chapter in this rivalry began when 50 Cent accepted a new position at Jay-Z, this time in response to the grave rape claims that have been making headlines lately. Oh my goodness, this was entertaining. It was like watching the play and realizing that the seats are empty because they are meant to be used by someone else. Man, that's rough, bro. The whole situation with Fat Joe, let's break it down. We just had him at the World Series, and it was an interesting moment. He came in wearing what he called his ass kisser outfit. This dude showed up in a purple hoodie looking like he was trying to make a statement, and you could tell he was in a playful mood. It was kind of like he was saying, I know what y'all expect, and I'm here for it, but Joe, that's my guy, always has been, though. There was a time when things weren't so smooth between us. At one point, Fat Joe and I didn't see eye to eye. He even explained that himself he brought up the history with Chris Lighty, and that added some context to what had gone down between us. It was a moment in time, one of those things where miscommunication or misunderstandings turned into something bigger than it needed to be. But like I said, time heals things. Grown men, especially in this game, get to a point where they realize there's no need to carry that weight. That's when you start seeing things from a different angle. Joe and I, just like me and Busta Rhymes, we've come a long way from where we started. People forget that at one time, Busta and I had our own tension, but here we are now with Busta doing his final lap tour and showing love just like I'm doing my own thing. That's the beauty of growth and maturity. It's about putting the past behind and focusing on what really matters. And it wasn't just Joe and me who found that common ground, but a lot of people who once had issues can now appreciate each other in a way that wasn't possible before. Now back to Joe. Joe's the kind of guy who once you have his loyalty, you've got it for life. That's one thing about him that can't be denied. He's loyal to a fault. He'll ride with you no matter what, as long as he feels that mutual respect. And that's key, but sometimes if there's no real connection, no real understanding between people, you're just not going to vibe. And that's where a lot of things go wrong, because if you can't see eye to eye, it's easy for things to spiral out of control. That's what happened with us before, but once we got past that phase of misunderstanding, it was all good. People don't realize how much time and life experiences can change a person. There's no point in carrying that unnecessary tension with you. At a certain point, you start to realize that if someone's uncomfortable with your success, it's not your problem, it's theirs. Success can make people uncomfortable, but it's not about you, it's about how they're feeling inside. You can't let someone's discomfort affect your growth or your progress. And that's what I started to understand about Joe. At one point, I felt like he was uncomfortable with my success, and that made me question whether we could ever really get on the same page. But then I realized if he wasn't able to handle that, it wasn't something I had to stress over. You know, I never went looking for conflict. I didn't invite the drama, but I also wasn't the type to back down from it if it came my way. I've always had a certain mentality. If you want smoke, I'll give you smoke, but if not, let's keep it moving. It's not about being reckless, it's about being prepared for anything. I'm always in a mode where I'm ready for whatever comes my way. It's like my vehicle, bulletproof, bomb-proof. I'm geared up for whatever situation, and that's how I approach life. I'm ready for the ups and the downs, and if someone wants a problem, I'll let them know I'm not one to shy away. It's about being solid in who you are. You don't need to invite conflict, but you shouldn't be afraid of it either. If someone wants to bring negativity or hate into your life, it's their choice, not yours. And when you've been through the things I've been through, you learn that there's no point in letting anyone disrupt your peace or your journey. When you're on your path, you focus on staying true to yourself and the people who genuinely have your back. That's all that matters in the end. So yeah, I wasn't looking for any issues with Joe, but I also wasn't about to let anything stand in my way. And now we're in a place where it's all good, where we both understand the value of respect and loyalty, and that's where things should always be. I was like, oh, you thought you were different, right? How can that happen with Buster the Jai is Fat Joe? Is it deeper? The rapper's remarks followed Jay-Z's public presence at the opening of Masa the Lion King, a film in which his daughter Blue Ivy plays a major part. Rather than emphasizing the happy moments he had with his family, 50 Cent grew enraged about Jay-Z's arrival on the red carpet. Wiz.
Oh, no, it's the same thing that you see Drake experience. So how did he just have... This is the op page.
Right.
He was just winning consistently more than everybody else in the culture. And then these people start to turn into people that feel like they're ops all over the page, big. Because they keep watching them win. And then you go, I want this thing forever, man.
Right.
I'm not sure you can have it forever.
Right.
Not forever.
Do you ever get like not scared or something like that? But do you ever feel like man, I'm doing so well? Do you ever feel like the high horse you could be knocked off the high horse?
You have to know when to pivot.
Right.
Right.
Like J. Cole?
Well, I don't think J. Cole got knocked off. I think he got off the horse.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I wanted to speak to as well, man. At one point, Fifth, you didn't agree somewhat, paraphrasing, or hopefully I'm not rewriting your history, but you didn't agree with how J. Cole got himself out of the Drake and Kendrick thing. Can you understand?
Because he's one of the top guys. That's like the competitive energy of it. You want to see them compete a little bit. That's when we're gonna find out who really got it. Like when he decided, nah, but I would have won the battle, but I would have lost a brother.
Right. But you don't I don't know why I understood that.
No. I understand the relationship.
Right.
Right. But I don't understand why the competitive part in the art form. If y'all brothers like that, then why wouldn't you compete? Why wouldn't you understand that we're just competing? Hey, come on. So you're saying we could be so close. We're brothers.
Right.
But I don't want no smoke with you. What are you, like my big brother that'll knock me the hell out in the house type of thing? That is a different type of brotherly relationship? Are you saying I'm not gonna do this because I know you're gonna get me?
I don't think that's where Cole was coming from, though.
I'm just saying to you, that's the energy you feel when there's no competition.
Right. Where I think Cole was coming from, Fifth, I think that it was when he said, like, it messed with my peace, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like why would I get down for you?
Look, this is this new sophisticated version of hip hop culture we're talking about.
This is the new sophisticated version of hip hop culture that we're talking about. 50 Cent had previously made disparaging remarks about Jay-Z, particularly in light of the accusations against the Roc Nation mogul, but this time he was more direct and pointed, referring to the rape accusations that had recently been made against Jay-Z. The house type of thing is that it's a different type of brotherly relationship. Are you saying I'm not going to do this because I know you're going to get me? I don't think that's where Cole was coming from, but I'm just telling you that's the energy you feel when there's no competition. The accusations had already caused a stir on social media, with many people wondering how Jay-Z would respond given his prominence and the public perception of his family. The controversy started when Jay-Z was named in a lawsuit alleging that he and Sean Diddy Combs committed a heinous crime at an MTV Video Music Awards afterparty in 2000. The alleged rape of a 13-year-old girl was revealed in an amended lawsuit that has since caused a stir in the entertainment sector. Jay-Z, on the other hand, strongly disputes the accusations surrounding 50 Cent, which include claims that he is a victim of a blackmail and extortion scheme, have sparked widespread attention. Some have questioned whether these allegations are valid, while others wonder if this drama is being fabricated for the sake of public spectacle. One thing is clear, however, 50 Cent has managed to maintain his image as an influential artist, continuing to shape the landscape of hip-hop. But there's more at play here than just his personal life. It's also about the dynamic between him and his crew, particularly with the members of G-Unit. While he is still regarded as a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, some insiders believe that his role within the group could evolve in a way that amplifies his impact even further. For me, it's clear that despite the public drama and accusations, the bond he shares with his G-Unit affiliates has always been crucial. The question of how he's positioned in relation to them is intriguing. Will he continue to thrive as the dominant voice, the 50 Cent we've all come to recognize, or will he lean into something more? The notion that he could continue to be an outlier while still playing a role as the cornerstone of G-Unit could very well be the path forward. There's something magnetic about watching artists forge their own destinies within a collective, but still stand apart, maintaining a certain sense of independence. It brings to mind the bigger picture about how we measure success. A lot of people think that fame or fortune is based on who you associate with, but that's not always the case. As I see it, the things you go through in life are often what shape you into the person you become. In my experience, the toughest moments you face, whether it's personal struggles, financial woes, or relationship conflicts, are the ones that make you stronger. They test you in ways that nothing else can. take depression, for example. It's often discussed as if it's something that can be indulged in, a luxury of sorts, but in the environments many of us come from, depression isn't something you can afford. The harsh reality is that life keeps moving no matter how you're feeling. If you're down, you still have bills to pay, you still have to show up and do the work, even if you don't feel like it. You see this every day in people who are stuck in jobs they hate, but they still drag themselves out of bed and show up because there are responsibilities. That's life for so many people, and there's no room for self-pity. The weight of bills, of expectations keeps you moving, even if you're not entirely motivated. I often think about how this contrasts with the lives of those who've never had to face that grind. People who are constantly looking for validation or excuse to not show up, or those who feel that their pain is somehow more important than their responsibilities. I can't relate to that, and I believe it's important not to give in to those thoughts. I see a lot of people in the streets going through their own version of hardship, and when you live in that world, it's either do or die. You have to make the most of your situation or you get left behind. If you're on the streets, for example, you can't afford to feel sorry for yourself because in a moment you could be faced with an unfortunate situation that demands your immediate attention. When you're dealing with survival, there's no room for weakness. This kind of mindset extends to how we view success. I can't just look at things through a lens of ease. The struggles, the obstacles, the pressure, these are the things that define you. It's what makes you rise above the noise and make something meaningful. People like 50 Cent, for instance, who continue to navigate the murky waters of public life while expanding their reach in business and culture reflect that mentality. The hurdles he's faced only add layers to his story. His ability to stay relevant and continually reinvent himself speaks to a resilience that is only amplified by adversity. In many ways, it's this perseverance that connects us to his music. It transports us to a different time, offering a perspective that transcends mere entertainment. It's more than just beats and rhymes, it's about survival, hustle, and navigating through the storm, no matter the circumstances. His music, like his life, continues to evolve, taking us on a journey that mirrors his own struggles and triumphs, giving us a glimpse into the soul of a man who refuses to be defined by his circumstances. You can't alter it. This is what was recorded. This is what you want to hear, and I'm going to perform it exactly as it was because music marks time. When it starts, you feel as though you were in that moment, which is why you have it in the show, but it's your song because, as I mentioned, a large portion of the audience was a huge crowd on stage. It became a park jam as if it weren't even the summer jam show anymore. I'm betting we counted about 80 people. Lord's mercy indeed, it was my soul on the aircraft with you and Zhao. Did you say something like, hey, how you doing, or anything like, I knew he was there before I got there on the plane? Yes, dude, do you guys see each other? I saw him and we sat correct. He sat on the other side beside the window so that someone sitting at the very edge of it could see, and I simply sat down and kept getting up and moving around to watch if anything happened in reaction to these startling allegations in first class. According to a statement issued by Jay-Z's legal team, he denied any participation in the alleged crime and instead accused the victim's attorney, Tony Busby, of trying to blackmail him. Jay-Z even went so far as to claim that rather than feeling under pressure to make a settlement, the whole incident had the reverse impact of what the claimed blackmailers planned. According to Jay-Z, that strengthened his resolve to make the problem public. I won't give you a red card. He confidently said penny in his statement.
I wasn't in the ad
right
because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. Mm-hmm. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori was. He had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. You saying to Jay, he was telling me, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50. Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with this.
So now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like that.
Following Jay-Z's appearance on the red carpet at the premiere of Masa the Lion King with his wife Beyonce and their daughter Blue Ivy, 50 Cent took advantage of the opportunity to publicly mock the situation. He posted on social media saying, they said I raped a kid, everybody get dressed, we're going to see Masa. This was a direct jab at Jay-Z, who is denying allegations that he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sha Diddy Combs. In a scathing statement, Jay-Z accused Jane Doe of being sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. He also said, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Anyone who would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" he added. The civil lawsuit against Combs was amended on Sunday to include Jay-Z. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey Jackson CN, a legal analyst, criminal defense lawyer, and former prosecutor. I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful and denial. I just read a tiny portion of it, but it's lengthy. "Heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit down with our kids, one of whom is old enough that her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people joining us." Says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point? Based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. Why do I say that? He is obviously very irritated right now. He has a family and a lot to protect, including his brand. However, to the extent that he is saying, "Hey, come after me criminally," that may be the reason I say that, because of the rape that occurred in New York and the allegations of forcible compulsion. What is in this complaint? That means that in English, he held her down and raped her, and that naturally the accusation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. If those facts are true, prosecutors would need to look into it, and if it is, you could pursue it criminally. Now, as far as the evidentiary value goes, yes, it happened 24 years ago, but more than 24 years ago, but there are a few things in the allegations. First, there is a claim that another famous person was present at the time, right? Along with other people. Number two is the victim's claim that she left and was seen by a gas attendant who noticed her in distress. Number three is that she called her father, who arrived with a 13-year-old and took her away. All of these allegations must be proven in a court of law, but if they are true, they could escalate to criminal activity. We'll see what happens after the fact, and the timing of this post was especially important because Many social media users couldn't help but examine the situation's optics amid such serious accusations, with some questioning whether Jay-Z should have made such a public appearance or whether it was an attempt to divert attention from the controversy surrounding 50 Cent. The instigator wasted no time in adding fuel to the fire, so what happens now? Jay-Z's appearance at the Massa premiere had already raised eyebrows due to the ongoing allegations. This is just a civil complaint, and in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. The difference between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only give you money. There are claims that this 13-year-old has depression, PTSD, and other conditions, so you go to fact-finding first. Before that, just to give you a brief overview, a demand letter was sent, and a demand letter was sent, and a demand letter is a letter sent by. I don't care about your demand letter, I see it as blackmail. You want to sue me, you want to look at us criminally, you want to look at it criminally. However, it will go through the fact-finding process. If a trial is necessary to determine the facts, that's what will happen. It will be deemed civil. There is currently no indication as to whether or not any criminal charges will be brought. This situation is escalating quickly, and it's clear there will be a thorough investigation as a result of the recent allegations. Jay-Z has already responded to these accusations with great force, specifically taking aim at the lawyer involved in the case. His response is filled with accusations of greed and opportunism, calling the lawyer's actions essentially blackmail. Jay-Z believes the lawyer is merely after money, leveraging this situation for personal gain. Meanwhile, Jessica, the other party involved, has also filed a lawsuit against the lawyer, accusing him of intimidation and harassment, among other serious allegations. Demand letters, though, are hardly anything new. In the legal world, they are often routine. Lawyers send them as part of their practice in an attempt to resolve disputes or to seek compensation for their clients. What makes this situation different, however, is the high profile of the individuals involved. It's not unusual for demand letters to be issued when there's a legal disagreement, but the stakes are much higher when celebrities are involved, and the consequences of these allegations are far-reaching. The process can sometimes be sped up, provided there is a genuine belief that the claims made are true and that the lawyer is acting in good faith. In this case, though, the timing and the inclusion of certain details, especially regarding Jay-Z, have raised some eyebrows. The original complaint was filed back in October, yet Jay-Z was only recently added to the suit. This raises the question of why his name wasn't included initially, and why now, several months later, the amendment is being made to incorporate him into the lawsuit. Was this an oversight, or is there something else at play? The crux of the issue lies in the truth of the factual assertions made in the case. Are the accusations made about Jay-Z true, or are they fabricated? Is this a legitimate legal action, or is it a money grab? These are questions that will ultimately need to be answered in court. Jay-Z's stance is clear. He claims that these accusations are nothing more than fiction and that he has no involvement in any of the alleged actions. He is adamant that he is innocent and that his reputation is being unfairly targeted. This is not just a fight for his name, but also for what he perceives as his innocence and his pursuit of justice. One interesting aspect of the case is the fact that this lawsuit is an amendment to an existing legal action. Initially, the complaint did not include Jay-Z's name, but now it's been changed to incorporate him. This brings up the important question: if this information about Jay-Z was known all along, why wasn't it included in the original filing? The alleged events are said to have occurred in September 2000, so why the delay in including Jay-Z in the lawsuit? What changed between October and now that prompted this addition? This raises concerns about the credibility of the claims being made. Could it be that the information was either withheld or only now being used as leverage in the case? The timing of the amendment adds another layer of complexity to the situation. It brings into question the motives behind the decision to add Jay-Z's name to the lawsuit now rather than when the initial complaint was filed. Did the addition of his name reflect a significant change in the legal strategy, or was it simply a reaction to new developments or information that surfaced? This is the part of the case that will likely draw the most scrutiny in the coming weeks. The question of credibility is central to this entire case. If these allegations are nothing more than pure fiction, the legal consequences could be severe for those involved in making them. On the other hand, if the allegations are true, Jay-Z may face serious reputational damage. As the case moves forward, the evidence presented will ultimately determine whether these accusations are grounded in reality or whether they are simply an attempt to capitalize on his fame and fortune. The outcome of this case is likely to have major implications not just for those involved, but also for how similar cases will be handled in the future. The investigation will no doubt dig deeper into the facts, and it will be interesting to see how the credibility of both sides holds up as more details come to light. He truly is trying to tie Jay-Z to Mr. Combs in a lot of ways, right? The argument he is making is that you can make it, but you need evidence to support it. Let's see if they do. Thank you so much, Joey Jackson. This wasn't the first time 50 Cent had made fun of Jay-Z for the rape claims. Earlier, he had made a post that seemed to mock the situation, implying that the controversy might even have an impact on the upcoming Super Bowl, where Jay-Z rocked. 50 Cent asked, "Are we going to still have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for friend." Although the comment was ambiguous, it was obvious that 50 Cent was suggesting that Jay-Z's participation in the Super Bowl could be jeopardized by the ongoing scandal. This was not a casual remark. 50 Cent knew exactly how to make his point by using the Super Bowl's high profile as a backdrop to highlight the seriousness of the allegations. Sees this as more than just an opportunity to make fun of Jay-Z. The rapper and the Nation founder have a long history of animosity, and the recent accusations against Jay-Z have only given 50 Cent more ammunition in their ongoing feud. When he says, "Old boy, it's important to note that this was discussed before Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just in case you're not aware, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform at that Super Bowl they had a few years ago. Why do you think that is okay? I just threatened." Yes, perhaps not even a threat, but when you look at the competition from the perspective of our coach, who is a competitive man, I believe that when it goes beyond the music itself to blocking things in business, I don't understand that. For example, at the moment, he's not even vying for a slot, and you don't have a new song out that he wants to be on the top 10 or top 5, so why are you still competing? Tell me what we're aiming for. This even looks like a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call beef, right? And right when it's Biggie and Tupac, because you start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment, right? In our culture, they used to call it the battling, right? Because that's what it is until it turns into some street ____. So when you're no longer competing for those things, you start looking and you're wondering what was. The situation took a different turn when Jay-Z confronted the accusations head-on. The rapper filed legal documents in which he denied the claims and even went so far as to request that the identity of the alleged victim be revealed in his filing. Jay-Z claimed that he was named in the lawsuit only because he refused to comply with the victim's lawyer's demands, which he labeled as extortionate. "I know exactly what the problem was, but that's what I went through with Joe." According to the caption's head, there was no truth to the accusations, and this was just a blatant attempt to damage his reputation. However, given the issues Jay-Z is currently facing, 50 Cent is the king of trolls, and he is acting like he's having fun. Do you think he's having fun? I believe he is. It was 50 Cent that made two of his friends happy, who he was constantly _ with, or attempting to _ with, and the hottest of all time. More than the other, of course. Even though I say that he's having a great time, I have to give him credit on the one hand because he had the courage to be in that situation and not speak out about what was happening before cats. He didn't give a _ blacklisted and all that, and he didn't care. He said, "You know what, I've done my thing, I've got my money, so even if that happens, I'm straight, I'll just." You get the impression that he said to himself, cash out, because he had the money to start his own platforms. He said, "Oh, well, if you shut me down here and you shut me down there _ you have my own network and I have the money to put my never." That's why 50 don't back laughter down, back down. I love that about him because he was one of my favorite rappers when he came out because he brought that grimy _ back. Like that non-giver underscore punk rock hood underscore at the time, he said, I don't care what you think of me. Yeah, I'm going come ball out. And if you don't like it, eat a dick word. Thank you. In addition, a lot of his songs were awesome on his mixtape albums, and he performed many of them better than many of the artists who performed them. He did that mixtape run, which is difficult to do, and he did volumes of those mixtapes like that before he released his album. And as far as rappers go, Eminem would like to respark at MC like, oh my god, look at the styles he's flipping, because I've always been a fan of cat stick and flip styles. I'm like, okay, we got to get up on game here. This homie right here is on another level, and I love that because response Tony Busby, the lawyer representing the alleged victim, fired. Busby criticized Jay-Z's claims, pointing out that the rapper had previously denied filing an extortion lawsuit against his firm and that Jay-Z had neglected to mention that there were no requests for money in the demand letter from his firm. Busby seemed to imply that Jay-Z was using the blackmail accusation as a diversion from the more pressing problem at hand, which is that he loves people who challenge him. I don't mean to challenge me specifically, but I just mean that as an MC, I like looking out at the extent of missies that exist, who you are, what level you must be at, and to be competing and to be up there and regarded as one of the top. So for me, I'm constantly studying. Eminem, gave me a spark, and then 50, because I was playing a lot of underscore paintball, and for 3 or 4 years, we were still doing shows. But, I was listening to mixtapes, and then I heard the underscore he was coming out with, and the hot to rob underscore. I thought, damn, this motherfucker's got coming with concepts and got bars. His style is dope like underscore. I need to get back in the underscore studio. Yeah. What am I doing it? Yeah. That got me back in the studio where I began with the mixtapes before moving on to my first solo album, a couple more mixtapes, and dem underscore. And, well, the Rise Up album Word. Those two guys ignited my desire to be competitive and desiring to do the underscore but not having to, because there's a difference between having to and wanting to do it. Of course, I can do it because I'm a pro, but if I have to do it, I'm not as excited. However, if I want to do it, I'm fully underscore sparked, and boom. And that's when great work happens. That's how I feel about doing things like DJing too, you know what I mean? You understand what I mean when I say that as DJs, you know that all three of us can say that when we think, oh, we came up with underscore on the fly. Yeah. You know what I mean? When we have to do it, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're not in a creative space when you have to, when you're doing it because you love to and you want to have all the creative underscore flows. Which is true when you're on a deadline and you guys have to get in the studio because you're behind, blah, or... I remember that artists have been going through that from the beginning of time, so you understand what I mean when the label head shows up at the session and says, we need it today, it would be nice if we had it today pressure.